We're going to be building a gaming PC in the Corsair 4000D airflow case. This is a personal rig update, so if you'd like to see the playlist of that, I'll put that up there in the corner for you. This ain't going to be a step-by-step, this is going to be a time-lapse, so if you need a step-by-step guide on how to build a gaming PC, I'll also put a link up there for you if you'd like to go watch a step-by-step guide on how to do it. But I'm going to run down through the ports as I start the time-lapse of showing you how I'm putting this system together. And then at the end, I'll be back with my conclusions and tell you what my thoughts is on the building inside this case. So let's get that time-lapse started. Alright guys, and for the components that I'm putting into this system, we have the AMD Ryzen 9 3950X for the CPU. We have the ASUS Prime X470 Pro motherboard. We have G.SKILL's Ripjaws 5 series 32 gig, 216 gig kit running at 3200 megahertz for the RAM. We have the EVGA GeForce RTX 2070 Super Black Gaming Edition for the video card. For the storage, we have the Intel 660p series M.2 1TB NVMe SSD. For my mass storage, I have the WL 3TB 3.5-inch hard drive. To power everything, we have the Corsair RM series RM650 650 watt, which is 80 plus gold certified. To house everything, of course, we have the Corsair 4000D airflow case in white. To keep everything nice and cool, we have the Fractal design Prisma AL12s 120mm fans. There's 3 of those in the case. We also, for that CPU, we have the Fractal design Celsius Plus S28 Prisma all-in-one liquid cooler. Some of the additions that's in this case, we have the Asiahorse custom sleeve extension power sleeves for the power cables. I did have to get the Deepcool RGB converter box because my motherboard don't have an ARGB header on it, so I had to get the converter box to convert it from RGB over to ARGB. And we also have the Elgato capture 4K 60 Pro MK.2 for my capsular input. So enjoy the rest of the time lapse of the build with some soothing music behind it, and I'll be back with my conclusion to the video. Alright, all we ran down through the components that I put into this case. And I showed you a time lapse of building the gaming computer inside the Corsair 4000D chassis. I think it all went together fairly well. There's plenty of room in the back for your cable management. You got that full basement shroud at the bottom so you can hide all them unnecessary cables you don't need. I was hoping to be able to install my radiator on the top of this case, but I was unable to do so. If you haven't seen, I've got an unboxing overview of this case. I'll put a link to it up there for you if you'd like to go watch that unboxing overview. But inside the specs of this case, it tells you to be able to do a top mounted radiator, you need LPX RAM from Corsair, which is a low kit of RAM, which I don't have. Also, on the back of my motherboard, I have that little white plastic shroud that covers up my back I/O ports. So due to the RAM and the little piece of plastic covering up the back ports, I was unable to get my radiator on the top, so I had to do a front mounted radiator in this case. And speaking of mounting that radiator in the front, if you look over here on the right, here's a picture of the radiator being installed. If you look at the right, that top corner of it right there, it ain't quite shoved up as far as it should be, but that's because of the cables. When it comes down through the case for your front I/O, it's kind of keeping that radiator down on that one side a little bit. If you look over on the left hand side, this hole at the bottom is lined up fairly well. It wasn't too much of a struggle to get that one in, but this top one's way off. I really had to struggle to get that screw into that radiator to be able to support that radiator all the way. But besides that, it was fairly easy building in this case. Like I mentioned, it does have quite a bit of airflow through, so I think that front mounted radiator will do fine for my system. That clear side panel on it, you know, it does have tempered glass side panel on the side of it, which is clear. There's no tint to it, which really lets your ARGB or RGB lights really reflect through it, and it looks good. It does have gray accents on it. You know, your back dust covers for your expansion slots are gray instead of white, which it ain't that big of a deal, but you know, to some people it is a big deal. But I think it looks alright. I think the system ended up looking pretty good with them white extension cables added to the PSU. It did end up still being a pretty well black and white build. The PBC of the motherboard is black, my RAM is black, my all-in-one is black, my graphics card is black, but the case is white. The motherboard's got quite a bit of white accents on it. So I'm pretty happy with the way the system ended up looking. If you like this kind of content, go down and give me a like. If not, give me a dislike. There's also a comment section below. I go through them every Saturday morning here at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the US on my live stream. If you really like this kind of content, go down and hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. That way you're notified next time I put out a video or go live here on YouTube. And also, if you're interested, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I don't kill your inbox, but I do put up photos of new stuff I have coming in to kind of give you an idea of what's coming up on the channel. Or if there's any information about my live stream, if I got to cancel or change the time, that's where you also get that information. But with all that being said, you all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.